How are you?
I may have to bug out early, so don't be offended.
No problem. Never offended.
I have to go to a lot of meetings, so I like to be early rather than be like a lunatic.
Yes. And it's also highway driving, so you got to take.
Everyone's crazy.
Yeah. Yay. Well, I'm glad you can make it. Balances. I just thought of it. Hi, welcome. So we'll do triangle pose. We'll do Ekapada Kundinyasana, this one. So I think, let me just turn this up.
With the bolster that you used to do.
Yeah, we'll do it with the bolster. I should tell them to get a bolster. So sleepy. Yeah, we'll do the bolster version and then no bolster. And then for the whole month, we'll do all arm balances and what it's like to stand on the heart.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I remember I did talk to you about doing like a couple of things just to use my voice. Maybe next week.
Perfect. We can have you do the warm up,
Yes.
or we can have you do the cool down, whichever one you prefer.
Perfect.
Yeah. How about, today, generally the warm up will be the same. So, you can think about what you want to suggest or say, and we'll have you do either the first 10 minutes for warm up or the last 10 minutes for Shavasana. And warm up, all today will be foundation. So hands, wear the hands, turning the fingers out, continuing to check the hands, and really hugging them in together. So that sounds great.
Perfect.
Yeah, can't wait. Okay. Hi, how are you? Good. We'll start in a little bit, y'all. Let's grab a bolster today, too, along with everything else you normally use. So every prop imaginable. Bolster, blanket, 2 blocks, therapy balls, a strap. And we can also bring those to you. A bolster. I know. Hi, welcome. I should have a bolster too. That would be helpful. Okay. Yes. Why not, Hi, how are you? Good. So I live in West Philly, and I live on Hazel in this street, and 49th goes here. There's a house where our backyards touch that got torn down 2 years ago, and now they're putting the lot up for sale. And the people who own it owe a lot of money on it, but it's going up for something called a sheriff's sale tomorrow in Philly, which I've heard of but never been to. And so today, it's all online now, and so it's starting and ending tomorrow. So I put an offer in on it just to see, because I don't want I don't actually care that much, but I'm like, it would be nice if a developer didn't come and build a big house and we can just keep it as a lot and outdoor space. But I had a long phone call. One of my friends is a real estate agent who does this stuff. And I'm like, Sarah, what am I doing? Is this going to work? I don't know where I am. And so she just texted me and was like, you did the right thing. We'll just see what happens. So who knows? We shall see. Yeah. But it'll be an odd shape lot. Like my house will be here and then you just go to the backyard and then it cuts like this. Yeah. Who knows? Did you guys see the house on?
Oh, we did sign the lease.
Congratulations.
We're moving March 1st.
Soon.
Very soon.
Nice.
Yeah. We haven't planned anything.
No need to.
This is so much stuff. I think we collected over 4
Or-
years.
yeah. Do you have do you have more stuff that you have to get? Okay.
It's just we've kind of purchased so much furniture.
Yeah.
Ones that we don't even use, just to decorate the house.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's too heavy.
Yeah.
Everything. With who is into solid wood and all of that thing. I don't know how we're gonna do it.
You hire movers or you're going to do it yourself?
No, we're gonna hire.
Okay, good. I was like,
He works minimum for 12 hours every day. Doesn't have any time.
no.
I don't have any.
And the movers are so good at it. It's all quick. Some of them even pack your stuff.
Yeah. That's the best.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much stuff. There's clothes, utensils, crockery.
Yeah.
I haven't seen in 2 years.
Well, nice time to purge or be able to put stuff out that, yeah. It's a bigger house or same size? With a yard?
It has,
Nice.
I went to see the house on Saturday and I was like, there's 2 fireplaces, one in the living room, one in the bedroom.
And they work?
Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh, it's going to be so nice. Hi, Fran. How are you?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Hi, y'all. We'll start in a couple of minutes. Waiting on a few more folks, but we'll use every prop available to you. We'll use a bolster today also, both for rest and not rest. 2 blocks, blanket, strap, therapy balls. You can just collect all of your treats, or we can bring them over to you as we start to get moving. I know when you grab a bolster in Eric or Adriana's restorative class, you know the agenda that you're moving towards, but when there's a bolster in my class, it's unknown. Well, I know, but it's sometimes for rest, sometimes not so much for rest. I know. And some of them are oddly light. Like you think the fluffy ones, you think you're going to lift them up and it's a pillow. Oh no. Hi, Sally. Good to see you. In the daytime. Yay. Yay. What time does anyone know what time the Super Bowl starts on Sunday? Is it in the nighttime? 6:30. 6:30. Okay. Where? New Orleans.
Right.
Okay. This is where I source my sports information from. I'm like, where should I be? What should I be doing?
Coffee.
Yes. Okay. Good to know.
He'll give you the stats, he'll give you everything.
No. Oh, there's one more thing to look up.
And he thinks I know everything. So he keeps telling me all these things in it.
Yes, I know already. There we go. I was just looking at that. Yeah.
I mean, the
It's
short film.
it's this Sunday?
It's the Super Bowl Sunday. Yeah.
Super, okay. I wanted to look at it to see. Ah, there it is. Okay. Kelly. Great. Okay. Hi, y'all. We'll get started. Thanks for coming. Happy Monday. For those of us that are new to one another, or it's been some time since we've seen each other, my name is Anisha, and we have Kaushika assisting here with us each week. And so the way that it'll look, some of you know, I'll be practicing from the mat so that you guys and people at home will have a visual. And Kaushika will be walking around the room, ask any questions, use her for any yoga-related information, and she might offer some referential assists, meaning maybe suggesting bring your hands wider or closer just to see what it feels like. But as always with assists, if you see her or I getting too close and you're like, you can tell us, please go away, no thank you, give us a foot, give us a hand, and no offense taken whatsoever. So let us know. I was just looking on the phone. It's February. Happy February. We did it. Last month we did all of January for those of us that were together. We did a whole month of full splits, and now we're done. We won't do that again until next year. But for the month of February, I've deemed it to be the month of arm balances and deep hip openers. It's a great time of year to start to build a little internal heat, a little internal warmth. So each week we'll explore a different arm balance and how it corresponds to parts in our body. Normally, for a long time, there used to be a skeleton here for our anatomy lectures and training, but over the years, he started leaning and has gone in for surgery and never returned. So if I look over here, it's for the ghost of the skeleton. But when we do arm balances in our yoga practice, if you were to look at a skeleton of the human body, the bones of your arms are connected to your shoulders, they're connected to your rib cage, and they essentially keep your upper body moving and organized in space. And so the metaphor for arm balances in our yoga practice is how can you stand in and on and from your heart with integrity, because it's thought to be that your arms are a way that your heart expresses itself in the world around. And so when we take today's practice and all month long's practice to balance on the arms, how do we do it on shaky ground, on unwavering steadiness, without compromising parts of ourselves? So we'll see where it takes us and how we move. Did anyone watch the Grammys? That's why I realized I'm so tired today, because I stayed up later than I normally would. Did anyone watch them? Yeah? There was moments where I was like, wow, and there was moments where I was like, should I go to sleep right now? I couldn't tell, but I stayed up to see them all. I desperately want to play, has anyone listened to Doechii? If you haven't seen, she's 26, 27, won Best Female, this is not related to yoga, but it kind of is. She won Best Female Rap Artist, one of the only 3 black women to win it since its inception. It's Lauryn Hill, Cardi B, and her. And she had a performance on the Grammys last night that was incredibly amazing. Just truly phenomenal. It was like her heart coming to life. So that'll be homework that I won't test you on or grade or ask for any opinions or considerations on, but if you are interested, something to look at and think about. So we'll get started today in a comfortable seat, however that looks for you. You are more than welcome to start lying down on the floor. You can sit cross-legged, you might sit up on your knees. I always like to sit up on props if I'm seated, just so that my hips can naturally be higher than my knees, and your low back can really lift and lengthen. And as you find your seat, and let your hands fall anywhere they fall, in your lap, on your legs, down by your sides. Let your eyes either close or soften to a point so you can listen for your breath. When we close our eyes, it gives us a moment to turn in towards the darkness. That generative, expansive, informative, and milky darkness behind your eyelids. And as you begin to become more familiar with the dark, Maybe you see flashes of light or spots of color or any familiar shapes or forms that you've noticed from your day. And through that expansive darkness, can you listen for that thread of your breath? Letting each inhalation move from your nose down into your belly and up into your heart. And as you exhale, the breath pours itself up and out through the very crown of your head. With your head stacked above your heart above your hips, can you take a few more of those breaths on your own? Each inhale might move in, down, and wide. And as you exhale, the breath pours itself out through you, heartfelt in each direction. We'll start our time together in our practice with 3 more rounds of that same breath. Take a moment to gather your hands to center where that may feel for you, perhaps somewhere on your body or in front of your heart in a moment of self-reverence. If your hands are in Anjali Mudra, you might pull your thumbs back to touch your heart as you gently lift your heart up into your thumbs to meet yourself where you are. Wait for your next inhale as it fills you up completely. And exhale to offer all of that breath out. 2 more times just on your own. At the bottom of your breath, you might bow to your heart, where the voice of your true teacher resides, never further than the beating of your heart, and never further than each one of your breaths. And keeping that connection inward as best as you can. Gently let your hands release, lift your chin, and as you blink your eyes open, we'll meet in tabletop to start to link breath and movement together. Perhaps you have your blocks framing out the front of your mat. You might use them as we start to move around. And as you make your way to all fours, for today, bring your hands as wide as your mat. Let your pointer fingers point straight ahead to the front of the room. It might feel like you're fanning the rest of your hands out slightly. And with your knees under your hips and your toes tucked under, start to round and arch your spine, moving with your breath. Let's go for 5 or 6 breaths in your rounds of cat and cow. And as you take this time to link your movement and breath together, see if you can continually to just peek at your hands, see if they shift or move as you move your spine with the sound of your breath. Keep pressing your fingertips into the ground, the knuckle under your index finger into the earth, and feel all of those points of view that are touching the floor. Take 2 more rounds of slow, steady breath just on your own. And as you make your way to your next exhale, come back to table, find your neutral spine. Keep your hands where they are. Walk your knees back behind your hips. Tuck all 10 of your toes under. And we'll meet in downward facing dog as you lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. As you lift your hips up, peek at your hands and see if they shifted from your down dog and table. Notice if they got narrower, if the fingers turned in, if the fingertips got lighter. And if Kashika and I were true menaces, we would come around and try and pluck your fingertips off the floor and you wouldn't let us. That's how much you're pushing down into the finger pads. Now in your down dog, maybe it's stillness that your body craves. Maybe you pedal your heels slowly from one side to the other, or soften and straighten your legs at the same time. But can you let it be an offering to your breath just as it was seated a moment ago? A deeper breath in and a longer breath out. Now at the bottom of your exhale, lift your heels, soften your knees, peek forward, and 1 foot at a time, walk your feet up towards your palms to walk it into your forward fold. I like to have blocks underneath my hands so that the floor really comes to meet me where I am. You might widen your feet a couple of inches or even soften your knees so your low back gets some extra space. And with your hands touching something solid, your upper back can really soften towards the earth. Even gently nod your head yes, maybe slowly nod your head no, and just notice what gravity can do for the back of your head and your spine. A deeper breath in. Stay for the exhale as you bow in towards yourself. Now hands climb up onto your hips, stand through your legs, and inhale to come all the way up to rise as your hands come by your sides. With your feet right underneath you, take a big breath in, reach the arms up. And on your exhale, soften your knees to fold over your legs. Inhale to come up halfway, hands to shins or blocks as you reach your heart forward. And exhale to step it back to plank pose. Plant your palms and walk your feet back. For this first plank, lower your knees down onto the ground, and if they're not already, walk your hands to come as wide as your mat so that your index fingers point straight ahead. Keep your palms on the ground, shrug your shoulders to your ears, get very long through the sides of your waist, and now keeping your arms straight, soften right in between your shoulder blades as you reach your chest forward. Take a big breath in, and on your exhale, bend your elbows to lower your hips, your belly onto the ground. Inhale to rise for cobra or baby cobra with those hands wide. Hug the shoulder blades together. And exhale to take it back to down dog or tabletop or puppy pose for 3 steady breaths. I know some of us have wider mats than others. I know this might feel different with your hands as wide as your mat, but just notice what the difference generates within you. As you press down into your fingertips, can you feel your hips lift up and back to the wall behind you to get longer in every direction? And as the hips lift high, can the heels get heavier to the ground as you take a deeper breath in and a longer breath out through every fiber of you? At the bottom of your breath, lift your heels, soften your knees, peek forward, and come forward, your feet towards your hands into your standing forward fold. Inhale brings you halfway up to lengthen, grow longer through the spine. And exhale to fold, bowing in towards yourself. Wait for the breath in to rise. Stand through your legs, reach up, get taller than you've been. And exhale to let your hands come down by your sides. Let's do that one more time. Follow your breath more than my voice. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale to fold, Uttanasana. Inhale brings you halfway to lengthen, Ardha Uttanasana. And exhale to plank. Step it all the way back. With the hands as wide as your mat, pointer fingers pointing straight ahead, hug your legs together, hug the arms together, slide the ears back so your head is in line with your heart. Big breath in. And exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the inhale to rise, Cobra Bhujangasana. And on your exhale, down dog, table, or puppy. 3 more slow, steady breaths. Can you press your index knuckle down into the ground, your finger pads down into the floor? And now without actually moving your hands, can you energetically hug your palms together from right to left? Feel the forearms, the biceps, even the shoulder blades engage. And now from in between your shoulder blades, push your arms down and forward to lift your butt up and back to the wall behind you. A big breath in and a longer breath out. Now lift the heels, soften your knees, look forward, and one more time, come forward to the top of your mat, your standing forward fold. Inhale to lengthen halfway, grow longer through your spine, and exhale to fold, bowing in towards your own heart. Use your fists to measure your feet 1 or 2 fist width distances apart. And now with your toes pointing straight ahead, bend your knees, sit your hips back, bring your palms to your thighs for chair pose, Utkatasana. Think tush to the back of your mat, really hinge. And as you push into the legs, lift up through the heart. Stay here with the arms. It'll give you more steadiness in the low back. If you want to add some heat, reach the arms up overhead. But listen for your breath. Take a full breath from the nose down into your belly. Stay for the exhale. Let your hips get heavier to the earth as you lift your heart up to the sky. And now inhale to stand. Reach up, get a drop taller. Exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your right foot forward, step your left foot all the way back to catch your lunge. And now pivot your hands and feet over to the left to come into your wide-legged forward fold. Check to see that all 10 toes are pointing in the same direction. Lift and spread your toes, and now as you inhale, hug your feet together from front to back. Feel the inner thighs engage. Take a big breath in, and as you exhale, you might soften your elbows as you bow in towards yourself. Take another breath, hug the feet, the thighs, the legs towards each other. And on your exhale, let the crown of your head, your heart, get heavier to the earth. That's it. Let's come in for a little hybrid pose. Down dog lunge. So keep your left foot exactly as it is. Turn your right knee and toes to face the front of your mat. And as you bend your right knee into a lunge, walk your hands to the left corner of your mat. So imagine this pose in two different sections. From your hips up, you're in down dog. From your hips down, you're in warrior two. So with your palms on blocks or the floor, really push them down and forward and feel your butt lift up and back towards the long edge of your mat. And as you let your head get heavy, take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. You might bend into that right thigh as you guide your right knee open towards your pinky toes. Nice, y'all. Okay, keep that head low. Keep walking your hands back to frame out your right foot. We're going to step it forward. All the hops you need for your left foot to meet the right. Inhale to come up halfway to lengthen. Grow longer through your spine. Exhale to fold, bowing in. With your feet once again, 1 or 2 fist width apart. Bend your knees. Sit those hips back. Hands to thighs, hands to hips, or arms up overhead. Utkatasana, round 2. Can you guide your knees open towards those second and third toes? And as the hips get heavy, lift your heart up to the sky. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale. Think butt heavier to the ground. Lift your heart up. Even spread the fingers 1 more inch. And now inhale to stand through the legs. Reach up, get taller. Big exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your left foot forward, step your right foot back to catch your lunge. Pivot your hands and feet to the right for that wide-legged forward fold on the second side. Now as you turn to face the long edge of your mat, feel both feet on the ground. Hug your feet in towards each other. Take a big breath in, grow longer through the spine. And as you exhale, soften the elbows as your heart bows towards the earth. With each inhale, hug the legs, the feet, the thighs towards each other. Every exhale, keeping the legs steady, let your spine drape over down towards the ground. All right, for that down dog lunge, keep the right back foot exactly as it is. Turn your left knee and toes to face the front of your mat. And as you walk your hands to the right corner of your mat, let your whole body stay to the inside of your left thigh. Feel your hands steady on the blocks or the ground. And now push down and forward through your hands to lift your hips up and back to the wall behind you. The higher the hips lift, as the spine grows long, take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. You might bend into the left thigh and see if you can guide the left knee open towards those pinky toes. Notice where you feel it in the left hip. And now walk those hands back to frame out your left foot. We step it back to down dog, left foot meets the right. Notice what you feel, pedal the heels 1 at a time, and listen for your breath. On your inhale, come forward to plank pose, hands as wide as your mat, index fingers pointing straight ahead. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the breath in to rise, Cobra Bhujangasana. And exhale to meet back in downward facing dog. From your down dog, lift the right leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Spin your back heel to the floor. And for extended side angle, climb your right forearm to the top of your right thigh. And start with your left hand on your hip. Good, with the right knee and toes pointing straight ahead. Feel your feet on the ground and hug your legs together as if you could create a bubble right in the middle of your mat. And now push down into your right thigh, shrug the right shoulder up and back, and slide the ears back. Your left hand can stay, it can reach up to the ceiling, maybe it sweeps up overhead, but take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend into that front right thigh. Now here for a breath, or to add a little bit more heat in the abdomen, slide your right elbow to the inside of your right thigh. Press your right tricep into the right thigh and the thigh back into the tricep. And now use that to turn your belly and chest open to the left, maybe even up to the sky. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and bend 1 more inch into the right leg. Now sweep the left arm back towards the back of the room. Inhale to rise, warrior 2. Press the right leg straight. Finally, take a breath. And exhale to triangle pose. Right hand to your block or the floor. Let's all come to the inside of your right leg today. So once your right hand touches the block or the ground, feel your feet on the ground once again. And now without moving them, energetically hug your legs together from front to back. As you pull those feet in, press down into the right hand, reach the left arm 2 more inches as if you could touch the rafters overhead. Then slide the shoulders back, the ears back to lean back. A big breath in. Stay for the exhale. And on your inhale, unwind. Look down to the ground. Bend your right knee. Plant your palms and step it back to down dog. Pedal the heels 1 at a time from side to side. And check out any difference that you feel. A few more times together on an inhale with your hands as wide as your mat. Come forward to plank pose. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana. Wait for the breath in to rise, Cobra Bhujangasana. And exhale to bring it back to downward facing dog. 1 more side. On your inhale, lift the left leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch your lunge. Spin that back heel all the way to the floor. And as your left forearm climbs to the top of your left thigh, bring your right hand to your right hip. That's it. Check to see that the left knee and the left toes are pointing straight ahead to the front of the room. And now squeeze the legs together. Hug the shoulder blades together. Perhaps the right hand stays on your hip the whole time. Maybe it reaches to the sky or towards the front of the room. But keep that left elbow on top of your left thigh. Push down into the left leg and shrug the left shoulder up and back. Stay right here breathing. Or to add that little heat in the torso, slide your left elbow to the inside of your left thigh. Create some resistance. Push your thigh into your elbow and your elbow back into your thigh, and let that revolve your chest open to the right. Take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Bend 1 more inch into the left leg. And now reach back through the right arm. Inhale to rise, warrior 2. Stay for the exhale. Get heavier into the front leg. And now push the left leg straight. Take a breath, get long through the fingertips. And for Trikonasana, left hand to your block or to the ground. Let's all come to the inside of that left foot for today. Once your left hand taps something solid, feel those feet steady on the earth. And it's like you're sucking energy from the ground up into your legs as you squeeze your legs towards each other. And now keep that as you push straight down into your left hand. To reach the right arm up to the sky. Slide the shoulders back, the ears back to lean back against the steadiness you've created. A big breath in. Stay for 1 more exhale. And then on your inhale, unwind. Look to the ground, bring your hands to the floor, and step it back to down dog. Pedal the heels 1 at a time. Notice what you feel. And now from this down dog, everyone lower your knees to the floor. Sit back onto your heels for a moment, shake it out, take a breath, and see, warm, 4 poses in, warm, got a couple more to do. Anytime you need the fans, let me know, yeah, we can flick those on. But as promised, we're moving towards arm balances today, which means we are balancing on our arms. So while we get there, we'll take a version of this chaturanga that I want you to try out. So if you could please bring your blocks to their highest height, somewhere to the middle of your mat. As wide as your mat itself. That's it. Once those blocks come as wide as your mat to their highest height, bring your palms to the sticky mat in front of your blocks so that your forearms are in front of the blocks itself. That's it. Hands wide, index fingers pointing straight ahead. And now walk your knees back a few inches behind your hips. Slide the ears back. Take a big breath in. And what I'd like for you to do is lower all the way down to your belly without your elbows hitting the blocks. Just see what happens. Yay! Wee! Good. And then when you don't want to do it anymore, awkwardly push yourself back up to table and sit back onto your heels. Nice. Somehow we all made it down. Yes, I didn't hear so that was good. And if the block fell, no problem. But what I want to try and emphasize here, some of us have done this together before, and when I learned this from my first teacher, it kind of blew my mind open. If this doesn't work for you, you can always delete it. But the idea is, in a long moment later, we're going to be balancing on our arms itself. So if you think, I want to lower down onto the blocks, lower down onto the floor without hitting the blocks. This is definitely a version of the push-up to lower down. This is what I tend to do, which is, I didn't hit the blocks, they didn't fall, but I lowered down, yeah? The action I want you to think of is how far forward can you bring your chest so that when you lower, you don't even come anywhere near the blocks. It's thinking forward rather than straight down. So what it looks like is hands are wide, knees are back. I'm reaching the chest so far forward that when I bend my elbows, you see how my elbows are right over the wrists, like little bird feet? And I think of them as like heron feet walking. I'm lowering down without letting the shoulders collapse, thinking shoulder blades together until my pelvis and hips land. And then you can do this awkward, strange cobra without actually hitting the blocks and take it back to table. But the idea is, that's the forward is how I want you to try. So try it again. We'll see how it feels. Come to your hands and your knees. The blocks are as wide as your mat, just so your torso has some space to get into. But let your pointer fingers, index fingers, point straight ahead. Now look forward. Walk your knees back a few inches behind your hips. Slide the ears back, take a big breath in, and as you exhale, think chest so far forward that when you bend your elbows, you don't even touch the blocks. Yes! Inhale for that awkward cobra, maybe with the blocks still there, and exhale to take it back to tabletop. Did that feel different for anyone? Yeah? I'll take it felt different. I will also take I didn't like it. That's fully fine. We're still going to keep doing it, but I'm looking for just making sure that there's no pain. Discomfort, I accept. Awkward, I accept, but no sharpshooting pain anywhere in the shoulders or wrists. But hands wide, index fingers forward. So keep that in your mind. Clear the blocks out of the way. Come on back to down dog as you lift your hips to the sky. Now hands wide, pointer fingers pointing straight ahead. Feel those imaginary blocks behind your forearms. And on your inhale, come forward to plank pose with your knees down or up. Feel the imaginary blocks behind your forearms. Look forward, and now think chest so far forward that when you bend your elbows, you wouldn't hit those blocks. Inhale for that cobra. Hug the shoulder blades together. Nice. And exhale to take it back to down dog, hips to the sky. From your down dog, float the right leg up and back. Step it through or around to catch the lunge. And on an inhale, we meet in high lunge. Reach the arms, the chest, and the torso to the sky. Remember, walk the right foot as much as you need to the right so your feet are less on a tightrope. But it's that back leg. Lift up through the back heel and thigh. Grow taller through the fingertips and bend 1 more inch into the front leg. Now hands come to your hips. Tiny bend in the back knee. We come to stand. All the hops you need to spring off your left foot. Cross your left ankle over the right thigh. Sit your hips all the way back like chair pose as you reach your chest forward for standing figure 4. Your hands can stay on your hips. If it feels especially wobbly, they might come high up onto blocks out in front of the feet. But as you flex that left foot, take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale. Think hips heavier to the earth as you lift your heart up to the sky. And now inhale to come all the way up to rise. Lower the left foot down. Feel your feet on the earth. Reach up, touch the sky. And exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your right foot forward. Step your left foot back to catch your lunge. And now we'll either come into pigeon pose or lizard lunge. So you might heel toe your right foot to the left side of your mat and lower your right knee and shin to the floor to come into pigeon. If pigeon doesn't feel anything but sweet on the knee or on the hip, lizard, right foot to the outside of your right hand. But in any variation that you're in, come high up onto your fingertips or blocks. We'll take this into a thigh stretch. Feel your back knee down. Hug your knees together. And now bend your back knee to lift your left toes up off the floor. Stay right here and breathe. Or with your right hand steady, Reach your left hand around for your left foot for the quad stretch. Good. As you hold the foot, can you slide those ribs back? Hug the shoulder blades together. And now look away from the ground as you take a big breath in. Stay for the exhale and offer that breath out. On your next inhale, slowly release the hold of your leg. Plant your palms. We meet again in downward facing dog as you lift your hips to the sky. Notice what you feel. Listen for your breath. And now last time together with your hands as wide as your mat, index fingers pointing straight ahead. Inhale through to plank pose. Feel the imaginary blocks. Exhale to lower, Chaturanga Dandasana, imaginary blocks. Inhale to rise, Cobra, imaginary blocks. And exhale to take it back to downward facing dog. Last side, lift the left leg to the sky. Step it through or around to catch the lunge. And take your time. The whole inhale brings you up to rise for high lunge on the second side. Walk the left foot as much as you need to the left. And as the right heel lifts, the right thigh lifts, even look away from the ground as you reach up through the arms. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale and bend into the left thigh. Now hands can stay overhead or bring them to your hips, but all the hops to spring up to stand, and then right thigh, right ankle over the left thigh. Hinge those hips back, bend your left knee as you sit back into pigeon chair or figure four. And with that right foot flexed, listen for your breath. Take a big breath in, down, and wide. Stay for your exhale, let your hips get heavier as you lift your heart, your gaze away from the earth. On an inhale, come all the way to rise, lower both feet down, reach up, get taller, and exhale to fold, bowing in. Keep your left foot forward, step the right foot back to catch your lunge. And now your choice, depending on what you're working with in the knee or hip, pigeon or lizard lunge. Left foot walks over to the right as you lower the knee and shin down, or left foot over to the left. Good. Feel that back knee on the floor and hug your knees in towards each other. Now bend your right knee to lift your right toes up off the ground. Stay right here and breathe. Or with your left hand on the block, the right hand might reach back for the right foot. That's it. Listen for your breath. Take a full breath in, down, and wide. As you exhale, can you slide those ribs back? See what that does in the right thigh. Hug the shoulder blades together and look away from the earth. Now inhale to release the hold of your leg. Plant your palms. We meet once again in downward facing dog as you listen for and feel the currents of your breath. Now your choice, you can stay right here and breathe in your down dog. You might lower your knees to the ground and take those breaths close to gravity. You might let your breath take you through one of those linking vinyasas we've done together already. But anywhere you go, moving or staying still, can you offer it to your breath? Longer breaths in and full, clear, steady breaths out. Let your next few breaths bring you back to your downward facing dog just for a moment. And now from your down dog, walk your feet to come as wide as your mat. Tiny bend in both knees, and one palm at a time, walk your hands back to meet your feet. So you fold somewhere at the back of your mat. Let your head be heavy. Let your knees be soft as you bow in towards yourself. A big breath in and a longer breath out. So climb your hands up onto your hips. Stand through your legs and inhale to come up to rise. So you release your hands. Warmer-ish. Sip water. Shake it out. 2 more things I want to try out before we balance. This is the arm balance. This is me doing the arm balance before we balance on the arms. So let's take a shoulder stretch. I like to hold a strap between my hands to give my chest a lot of extra room. You can also interlace your fingers. But as you stand at the back of your mat, let your feet be wide. Either hold a strap between your palms or bring the webbing of your hands together. Hug the shoulder blades together. Take a breath. Lift your chest up. And as you exhale, tiny bend in your knees, hinge from your hips, Bow in as you reach your arms up to the sky overhead. Now you can see your knees, so you can see what they're doing. Mine always lock. You might take a tiny bend in your knees to let the backs of your knees soften. Can't necessarily see your elbows, but they might be locked too. Can you find a softening of your elbows? And now with some resistance, try to tug your strap or tug your fingertips away from each other to bring the shoulder blades closer on your upper back. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale, let your head get heavy, and maybe reach your arms overhead towards the top of your mat. And now inhale to release those hands back down to your tush. Ditch your strap off to the side. One palm at a time. Walk yourself back forward to meet in downward facing dog. Once again. From your down dog, lift the right leg up and back. As you exhale, draw your right knee to your nose for core plank. Now pause here. Can you bring your shoulders over your wrists? Lift your left back thigh higher, lift your butt higher, and then scoop the right thigh 1 more inch further forward. Inhale to reach up and back through the right leg. And one more time, right knee to right armpit, right shoulder. As you lift your left thigh higher, lift your butt higher, look forward, draw your right knee 1 more centimeter forward, and then inhale to reach the right leg up and back. As you exhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand, wee for lizard lunge. Lower your back knee to the floor or a blanket for some extra padding, and come high up onto your fingertips or blocks. Take a breath here. Hug your legs together. Hug your thighs together as you lift your chest. Take a big breath in. Stay for your exhale, or you might walk your palms forward an inch or two as if your hands would be in down dog. Perhaps you keep your back knee down on the floor. This is kind of a choose your own adventure lizard lunge. If you want to add some more zest in the back leg, perhaps you tuck your left toes under and lift your left knee and thigh up off the ground. But in any variation that you're in, with each inhale, hug your feet, your legs, your thighs together. With each exhale, let the right thigh get heavier as you slide your ears back so your head is in line with your heart. Nice, y'all. Okay, everyone back it up. Walk your hands back to come under your shoulders. Plant your palms. Let's meet in downward facing dog. Step the right foot back to meet your left. Notice what you feel from one side to the other. And for the last round, lift the left leg to the sky. Core plank, carve the left knee to your nose. Now pause with your shoulders right over your wrists. Lift your right thigh higher, lift your booty higher, and into that cavern, scoop the left thigh 1 more inch further forward. Inhale to extend up and back through the left leg. Last one, left knee to left shoulder. Think right thigh high to the sky, butt high. And as you slide the ears back, draw the left thigh 1 centimeter further forward. Inhale to extend up and back through the left leg. Lizard lunge, left foot to the outside of your left hand. Let's all start with the back knee down on the floor or a blanket. Come high up onto blocks or fingertips underneath you. And now take a breath. Hug the legs together, meaning the left heel pulls back, the right thigh pulls forward as you lift your chest up. Stay here the whole time and breathe. Or for those different variations, you might walk your hands forward of your shoulders, push down and forward through your hands, and think butt up and back towards the back of your mat. If you want to add that zest to the back thigh, you might tuck the right toes and lift the right knee up off the ground. But take a deep breath in, down, and wide. Stay for the exhale. Try to soften the grip of your fingertips around the block as you slide the ears back so they're in line with your heart. And now on your next inhale, walk it all the way back. Hands come under your shoulders. Plant your palms on the ground. Take it back to downward facing dog. Pedal the heels and notice what you feel. From your down dog, lower both knees to the ground. Sit back onto your heels, shake it out, sip some water, and take a breath. Yay, we did it. Fans are on, thank you. So as promised, arm balances. We're gonna do 2 on the right, 2 on the left. And I'll show you the options of how we'll start to build towards them. But for today, the arm balance that we'll take, it's called Ekapada Kundinyasana 2. There's all these long Sanskrit names, and then it ends with A, 2, 1, B. But this is the version of triangle pose or extended side angle in Chaturanga. So if you were to break this one apart, every single arm balance is a standing pose in the legs and Chaturanga in the arms. Yeah? If you think of crow pose, it's child's pose in the legs, Chaturanga in the arms. That make sense? Can you see it? Yeah? Chaturanga in the arms, child's pose in the legs. So today's version, we're going to do Chaturanga in the arms and that extended side angle version that we did, or triangle pose with Chaturanga in the arms. Is this helpful to see? I can never tell if my charades is helpful or if it's just me being delusional. But the first one that we'll try is with the blocks and the bolster. So this is what it'll look like. You'll do this in a second, you can peek and I'll show you. 2 blocks, bolster lays on top of it. And if you have one of those big fluffy bolsters, you kind of have to find the Goldilocks moment. You might not need 2 blocks, maybe you just need 1. But anyway, I can come help you around with that as needed. But as you set up your little bench, you come into your down dog with your chest hovering over the bolster. And now one leg lifts, knee to shoulder for lizard lunge. And now for this variation, the aim of the game, your hips will never lift up off of the bolster. But you want to think pelvis, top of the thigh to land here. This is a supportive hip opener in lizard lunge. You can stay here the entire time breathing. No need to do anything else. You'll get a big sensation in this tush. You'll get lots of length in the hip flexor and you breathe. If you want to play with this version of the supported arm balance, you walk your arms and leg together so that they touch. And now again, if I was a true menace, I would have asked you to get 2 more blocks behind your arms. And you think chest so far forward that when you bend your elbows, the back leg might lift. I'm not trying to kick it up off the ground, but I'm thinking chest forward, so like a seesaw, the back leg gets lighter. And then maybe this leg rests on top of the thigh, and this foot lifts up. Maybe it straightens. You see triangle pose, extended side angle, triangle, extended side angle, Chaturanga. And then when you do not want to do it anymore, it's like a seesaw. You tip. Yeah? You can also do this the whole time. You can watch. You can be here and breathe, a great place to be. But does everyone have something? I'll talk you through the progression. If you have something you want to explore, I'll talk you through it. So 1 or 2 blocks. If you got this heavier, thinner block or bolster, I like to have 2 blocks. If you have the fluffy, light ones, they're so squishy. You might need 2, you might need 1. You get to decide. But bring them somewhere to the middle of your mat. Yeah, so the blocks come somewhere to the middle of your mat. The bolster drapes over top of it. And then come into your down dog with your hands to the top of your mat so that your chest is hovering over the bolster and block. That's it. Check to see that your hands are as wide as your mat, index fingers pointing straight ahead. And take a breath here, in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. And now lift your right leg high to the sky. Bring your right foot to the outside of your right hand for that lizard lunge. Now lower your pelvis, the top of your left thigh, onto the block and bolster. So not the belly, not the chest, but your hips, your pelvis. That's it. Now before even lifting the back leg, reach your chest forward, look forward. If you want to explore lifting the back thigh, connect your right arm and your right leg, bring them to touch. And now think chest forward, look forward, bend your elbows, clear those imaginary blocks, and maybe the back leg feels lighter. Maybe it gets lighter. Maybe the left toes lift up. Maybe the right foot lifts up and you're in extended side angle. You might look at the right toes, say hi to them, and maybe straighten the right leg off to the right. Wahoo! And then when you do not want to do it anymore, you bend the knees like a seesaw, you tip yourself back and land in table. Okay. Yes. Nice, that was it. Did it make sense of where the block and bolster should land? If you felt it close to your chest, like more up near the top of your body, you'll be like, where are the legs going? If you felt it close towards the knee, you'd be like, oh my God, I'm going down to the floor. So you want to think, this is the heaviest part. You want this to have the support. And you saw how far forward you needed to go in order for the leg to lift up? Let's try the other side. One more leg. One leg is always different than the other. So let's see what the other leg looks like. Come to your hovering your down dog over your support. Take a breath here. And now lift your left leg up off the ground, left foot to the outside of your left hand, and land your pelvis, your hips, your pubic bone onto the block, onto the bolster. Now look forward. Where are you going? Look forward. Good. Now if you want to explore that back leg, let your left arm and your left leg kiss. Let them touch. And now clear those imaginary blocks. Think chest so far forward that when you bend your elbows back, you might come onto your right big toe. Maybe the right foot lifts and flexes up off the floor. Maybe the left foot rests on top of the left arm as the left leg lifts. And now shoulder blades together, think heart forward. Wahoo! When you do not want to do it anymore, seesaw. Tip yourself back, feet on the ground, to tabletop. Nice. Yes, Kathy, that's it. Questions about it?
I'm confused about what my arms are doing. Like, I feel like my pelvis connects with the bolster, but then when I try to bend my elbows, I guess my center, like I lose the strength in the arms.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel unstable.
Completely understand. The bolster is going to be there to help hold the pelvis up, but then you also have to think hugging your palms together this way and then pulling them back. Because for me, I'm focusing so much on, I know when I do it, I'm like, oh my God, my leg is lifting. And then it's almost like my hands could come clear up off the earth. That's what it feels like. So I'm thinking, I got to do the other side. Where am I? I'm thinking this action that we did in Chaturanga, in Cobra, where even when the legs lift, it's not like my hands could come up off the floor or they're going behind my wrists. I'm continually thinking palms towards each other, dragging the hands back towards the hips. So I'm doing this action without actually moving them. And that's helping my chest go forward. Great question. Was that helpful? Okay, I'm going to throw a little wild card at you. It's first day of the arm balance month. You can do that exactly again. Doing something the second time, you know, you learn something different, you kind of know where you're going, and you might breathe a little bit more fully. If you're like, okay, that feels good, then it goes from accessible to what the hell is going on very quickly, but we're going to go into the what the hell is going on territory. And this is what this looks like. It's from your down dog. You walk your feet in an inch or two. And now you lift a leg. We did this knee to armpit action a while ago. You draw the knee towards your armpit. Let me actually show. I'm not going to ask you to have blocks, but this is just referential. You lift the knee to the armpit, and it's like you're not touching the imaginary blocks as you lower down. That's how far forward my chest is going. And then as my legs lift, my chest lifts, and then somehow I come down to the floor. Yeah, it might be an ice cream melt down to the ground. But the whole idea of arm balances is that we think, we go to what we can see. It's like floor here, bring me to floor. Legs will lift up, but it's less about down and more about moving forward. How far forward can you move your chest so that there's space for things to come up behind you? If you saw that and you were like, I have zero interest in doing that, please don't. It's Monday at noon. Don't have to do anything you don't want to do. I'll talk you through this one for those that want to try it. If you're doing the version with the bolsters, I'll cut you loose for a moment, talk you through it lightly, but we'll work on our own pace. And then after this, we're rolling and lying down. So for those that are doing the bolster and block, set it up the same way and come into your downward facing dog. For those not with the bolster and block, clear them out of the way and come to your down dog. Everyone bring your hands as wide as your mat, pointer fingers point straight ahead. For those that are going with the bolster and block, actually everyone, lift your right leg up and back. Draw your right knee to your right armpit. Now look forward, look forward, look forward, look forward. Bend your elbows, clear the imaginary blocks. And the further forward your chest goes, that left leg might feel lighter. Maybe it hops, maybe it hovers, maybe it lifts. Maybe the right leg lifts and you reach the right foot off to the right. Nice carry. And then when you do not want to do it any longer, perhaps it's a slow ice cream melt down to the ground, or you somehow make your way back to tabletop. Nice. That was it. Kishan, did the hands help? Yeah. Good. Yes.
Another question about the hands. So the left arm, is it just hugging? Like, am I resting it on my ribs or am I just hugging it in?
Here's the worst answer that I can give you. Either that you want to do. I started, so the question is, we just did the right leg and the right arm was resting on the right leg. I'll show you the left, I'll show you the right. This elbow, what's this guy doing? For a long time, I started bending the elbow and bringing it into my hip crease. Like what was Australian breakdancer? What was her name? Ray Gunn. God, that went out of my brain. That's what I try and think of. And then eventually, when the chaturangas feel steady and stable, it's the same action in chaturanga like it is here. Elbows aren't resting on the thighs, but they're off to the side. But I would say start letting it be a little support for the hip and see what that feels like. Ray gun. Wow, that was just last year. Okay, let's do the last side. Yeah? Last side. Downward facing dog with or without the bolsters or blocks. Hands nice and wide and take a breath. No rush. Now lift your left leg high. Left knee to left armpit. How far forward can you bring your heart so that when you bend your elbows, your back leg has space? Maybe the right elbow comes to your right hip crease. And now think heart forward, elbows back. Perhaps the back leg gets lighter. Perhaps the left foot straightens to the left. And maybe you breathe. Maybe. Ah! And then again, ice cream melt to the floor, tabletop, child's pose, however you come out. Yes?
I have a cheat, and if I were in a normal downward dog, there's no way I would just be flop. And I do a much shorter downward dog, and that allows me to get into it. It's like a miracle. I don't know if that works for everybody, but
It's a miracle. Yes. Yes. That's a great tip. Shorter the stance, the less distance to travel. We'll do it again tomorrow. Next week, we're going to do the one with the twist. But something to think about for when you're watching Dochi, doing your homework, you can do a shorter down dog. Nice work, y'all. Can we come to lay on our backs, please? Have your head up towards the front of the room, feet to the wall behind you. Have your therapy balls within a grabbable distance and your block within a grabbable distance too. And as you come to lie on your back, bend your knees. Whoa. Always me. Bring your feet on the floor and bring those feet as wide as your mat. Let your hands rest on your belly or on your chest or on your ribs. Take a big breath in. And as you exhale, 2 windshield wipers on a car, drop your knees to the right. Inhale to bring the knees back up through center. And big exhale to drop your knees to the left. Do that one more time from side to side on your own. Inhale to bring the knees up. Big exhale, knees to the right. Inhale to bring the knees back up. And exhale to drop your knees to the left. Now the next time you draw your knees back up through center, let's take a few rounds of breath in supported bridge to call ourselves back. So heels close to your tush. Shrug your shoulders to your ears and wiggle your shoulder blades towards each other. Now push down through your feet to lift your hips up and slide that block to its lowest or second lowest height underneath your butt. Once the block comes underneath you, feet on the earth, wiggle the shoulder blades together on the back of your chest and let your head gently press into the ground to lift your chin. Your hands might rest on your body, alongside of you, or anywhere that supports you, but take 3 deep breaths to call yourself back. Trace the breath from your nose into your belly. Fill up into your heart. And exhale to offer the breath out in every direction. Arm balances, they require steadiness in the arms, fullness of your breath. Can you call yourself back to the full fluency of your breath as we did when we were first seated? Now, after your third or fourth breath here, press through your feet with just enough effort to lift your hips and slide that block out from underneath your tush as you lower your hips to the ground. Knock your knees, bless you, into each other. Bring your hands to your belly or onto your chest. Take a big breath into your palms. And exhale through your nose to let all of that breath go. Now I'll offer some therapy ball work in the upper back before we set up for rest. You are more than welcome to prepare for Shavasana now. We'll meet you there momentarily. For those that are working with the therapy balls, you might keep them in their tote or take them out. It's up to you. But hold them in your hand, lift your head and shoulders up off the ground, and pop the therapy balls in between your shoulder blades to frame out your spine, to bring them onto either side of the shoulder blade itself. Lift your head up for a second. A little bit more. And now come on down. How's that feel? Good. Your head might come onto a block to alleviate pressure. You might bring your head down onto the floor. But as your arms fall anywhere they fall, take a deep breath in and a longer breath out. Take another full, steady breath in through the nose and exhale out through parted lips. Let all of that breath go. You might stay right here for a few more breaths, or to find 2 more places in the upper back with your knees bent, feet on the ground. Press with just enough effort through your legs to roll your body towards your top of your mat until those therapy balls come down a few inches to the middle of your shoulder blades. You might bring your block with you as you let your hips get heavy. Take a big breath in and exhale out through parted lips. Let all of that breath go. Can you let the fingers soften, the jaw soften, the tongue release away from the top of your mouth? And now for one more place, with your knees bent, feet against the earth, push through your legs to roll your body north. So you feel those therapy balls come down to the bottom of your shoulder blades, still somewhere in the back of your heart, but slightly lower. There's so much to do in stillness with those arms heavy on you or alongside of you. Or you might reach your arms slowly up towards the ceiling and give yourself an embrace as if your hands are reaching for the therapy balls behind your back. Stay here or lean gently from one side to the other. If you are giving yourself that hug, see what it feels like to switch which arm is on top. Everyone take a deep breath in and even open your mouth to let all of that breath go. Now unwrap your arms if they're wrapped around you. Clear any blocks from underneath you if they're there. And begin to make that exit journey, moving your hips towards your heels or rolling over onto one side to push the therapy balls fully out of the way. And once those therapy balls set off to the side and you drape your upper back onto the ground, can you take a breath or two into what you don't see with your eyes, but you can so clearly feel? And now the next place we'll all meet is in your version of rest. So give yourself a moment or two to take anything it is that you need. Maybe it's the bolster underneath your legs or thighs so your low back can settle to the earth. Maybe it's the bolster over your belly or hips. almost like a weighted blanket to ground you. Perhaps you let your hair down or set your glasses off to the side. And as you find your way into any seemingly symmetrical pose, where all sides of you can soften evenly into the ground, let your eyes soften or close to listen for your breath. Each breath gently dissolves the entire practice that was. Each breath lets you arrive to where you are now. And each breath that comes after makes space for what has yet to come. So as every round of your breath lets your body become heavier into the earth, the heavier you become, the lighter and more spacious you may start to feel. Begin to deepen your breath. Take a longer breath in and a sweeter breath out. Take another breath in and down so it fills you up. And exhale to let all of that breath go. As you let the breath that you have begin to waken the body that you're in, you might start to roll your wrists or ankles in one or the other direction. Perhaps you tip your head from one side to the other, heavy against its support. Or just watching for neighbors and those around you. You might reach your arms away from your legs or draw your knees in towards your own chest. But when the time comes, we'll all meet with the knees bent, one or both arms overhead, as you roll over to any side that you choose. A breath or two here against the ground. And as you push down into the earth, come up to rise to a tall seat, the very same way we started. With those eyes softly closed or softly open, you And you listen for your breath once again. Take a breath in and down so it fills you up completely. And exhale to offer the breath up and out through every direction. Our time together will finish with one more of those breaths. You can place your hands to center anywhere that feels for you. As you take a deep breath in, to let it all go. You might bow your head towards your hands or gently lift your hands towards your head in such a sweet yet sincere gesture of self-reverence, bowing to your own heart and the hearts of each other who practiced right alongside next to you. And with all of our hearts, Kaushika and I bow to each and every one of you all. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you. Nice work, everyone. For those, actually no one knew we were going to do arm balances because I didn't until this morning. So thank you for your curiosity, your patience, your attention. Drink water, stay warm, stay cool, and I'll see you soon. There's a few announcements. There's so much fun stuff happening at the studio. If you like going upside down, Alex Holmes, in my opinion, is the greatest teacher on earth, and she's doing an inversion diversion workshop this Friday, 6:30 to 8:30. Her cues are incredible. Her assists are incredible. So if you're free this Friday night. And then it's next weekend. Two things are happening. One in West Philly, my sweet friend John Jock is offering, I was his demo for it last year and it changed my life. He's doing a Thai partner massage workshop that is the sweetest thing on earth. He's offering one on Friday night and on Saturday night. I don't know any information or details except if you were to Google Jean-Jacques Studio 34 Thai massage, you will find yourself in the right direction. And then this Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday, there's the morning class. And then Kelly Weber, who just graduated from teacher training a couple years ago, is doing a fundraiser class for her short film. And so all that info is on the website, on the socials. So if you're free, come through. But that's it for me. Anyone else have announcements? Things you're doing, you're going to, you're seeing?
If you like vintage, I have a vintage store on 4th Street. Come by and say hello.
It's the most beautiful place on earth, as is Keyshawn. So more vintage archive on 4th. A dream. Bye. Take care of yourselves. See you soon.